And we've just come through. It's the period after the invasion. The Allies have pushed inland, and here we have a slightly damaged French chateau. The Germans who've been driven back. And if you look to your right front, to the right of the chateau, you'll observe a small patrol coming in. Honest.
Oh, they got it started, good.
It's got 10p in the meter.
Yeah. Oh, he thinks he's got a flat tire on it.
No, just coming into the arena, to the right of the house, you'll see in a moment a patrol of British airborne forces, paratroopers and glider delivered troops. The jeep you'll see is rigged for airborne drop. In fact, the jeeps were brought in Horsa gliders, and the troops either came by parachute or also by glider. This is the reconnaissance squadron, whose mission really is to range ahead of the main force and to look at areas where they're going through the heavier units, the armour and so on. And they're advancing very cautiously through the bocage country again. You've got the small fields and hedgerows, and the Germans, of course, have had many years to perfect their defensive tactics against the Russian roller. And so what they have is numbers, vast superiority in material. They have both the Royal Navy and the United States Navy and several Commonwealth navies offshore with large guns up to 16-inch. And now in the German artillery piece to their right front and the German patrol to their left front. Just a quick observation, you'll notice perhaps with the airborne is that they have, but not the sort of soup bowl that you see on the ordinary Tommy or the turtle shell helmet on the later Tommies. Dressed in the denizen smock, which is the sort of parachute over smock and camouflage, and some are armed with a Sten gun and most are armed with the Lee Enfield rifle. The Germans, on the other hand, are Panzer Grenadiers, normally motorised infantry, but obviously they've long since lost their vehicles and are acting as ordinary infantry. Mostly they are armed with the standard Mauser rifle, but you'll notice in the area to the left we have the machine gun, the MG34. This is the one they call a Spandau in all the books. A little exercise for you to note the rate of fire of the German machine guns against the Allied ones later. And now the German Panzer Grenadiers, the infantry, have reached the jeep, having a little look for chocolates, coffee and nylons and things. And they're being supported on their left by German airborne troops, Fallschirmjäger. They again have a slightly different outfit. The helmet is smaller than the infantry helmet. They also have a camouflaged overtop. And they have an MG42. Wait till this one goes. And now, of course, the British have some other friends. And going in to try and help them out, we see the Americans. This is not the 7th Cavalry, this is the 2nd Armored Division, or part of it. Now, this is an armoured trim carrier, a half-track. A concept developed in the 30s, mostly by the French and also by the Germans. It fits in with the Iron Blitzkrieg, and the idea is that the tanks advance quickly and the infantry need to keep up with them. Unsupported tanks can't hold ground, and nor can they advance through towns and cities where infantry can drop bombs, etc. And so they need infantry support. Now, of course, it's no good infantry riding in trucks which can be knocked out for being sausages vehicles, so they need armoured protection. So the idea of the half track is to keep up with the tank in the advance. So this chap is to become separated from the tank. As you can see, it's well armed with a 50 caliber machine gun at the front and 30 caliber machine guns mounted on the two wings. Now they're trying to put a screen, an armoured screen, between themselves and the British paratroops who've been pinned down. Using their superior firepower now, managing to drive back both the German Fallschirmjäger and also the German infantry. Now, of course, being Americans, they can afford to fire off all these rounds. Now, there seems to be a problem with the half track. Either it struck a mine or bogged or something. And of course, as soon as they come from the armoured protection, they straight away get into the fire of the German machine guns. Now that the half track is no longer mobile, of course, along can come now the infantry and surround it. All sorts of goodies in the half track. And now, of course, the American would-be rescuers of the British infantry are now in a situation of needing rescue themselves. Now, we see some American vehicles. If you look front in this moment, you'll see some German vehicles. This is the well-known Kugelwagen, the military version of the Volkswagen Beetle. Unlike the Jeep, it's only a two-wheel drive, but of course, having a rear engine with a weight over the rear wheels, it's pretty good over most terrain. And now the Germans are good. The vehicle crew have to go and take shelter under some protective fire that the British troops have. Yeah, look how to drive a Jeep and keep your head down. Now you see one of the German grenadiers trying to find a in fact, now he's operating the Americans' own machine gun against them. Now, the Germans are being a bit cautious about advancing any further. They're not really going to get much in the way of useful information from the crew who bailed out and now joined. So perhaps their best hope is to see what they can find there and see what comes along. Swings again, and now here come Allied reinforcements. A second American half track. This one rather differently armed. Has a twin 50 caliber anti-aircraft mount. This could put down a hell of a lot of fire. The German field gun can't do much to support. It doesn't have a line of fire either on the vehicle or on the Allies in the shelter of the chateau. And possibly they're low on ammunition anyway. developing, you'll notice the German screen. You'll see the German just to the left of the half track. He's looking up all the time. They're in the open, it's a clear sky. The Germans learn very, very soon that air superiority means you don't move in daylight except at great hazard. Now the situation on the ground, meanwhile, is that the British are advancing to the right and the Americans are advancing on the left flank. As the Americans move forward, the situation is now developing where the pincer movement is working against the Germans. The position there with the half track will become untenable very shortly. Now there is the British Bren gun, you may have noticed, and on the right, nearest the second half track, is the American 30 caliber machine gun. The other German vehicles now are pulled back into the shelter of the trees. Now the Americans have made smoke, possibly for a very good reason. And what's that we hear above us? Did I mention air superiority? There we are, the most famous aircraft shape in the world. Look at Supermarine Spitfire. He made one low reconnaissance pass. And that's what air superiority means. It's all over for the German field gun. The German situation now very untenable, particularly as they've also got some nasty opposition in the form of 3 British 25-pounders. The Germans now pulling back rapidly to the cover of the tree line. Spitfire's just come back for a look to see what damage he's done. And he also appears this time to dispose of the German anti-aircraft machine gun. Now, those of you who can see right down into the ditch to your front, you'll see the Americans to the right. And to your left, you'll see a small German anti-tank squad. The man in the lead is carrying the Panzerfaust, which is a disposable single-shot anti-tank missile, basically a rocket-propelled grenade, well capable of taking out any Allied tank, and most certainly an Allied half-track. He's backed up by a rifleman. There goes the German artillery. So the infantry are on their own now. Now you'll see the grenadier at the lead has now primed the weapon. The Panzerfaust is now primed. He's almost within range. He wants to get a good flank shot. Dangerous, isn't it? Now, what about the one for the good old RAF? Let's hear for the Spitfire. Come on, for the Super Marine. Let's have a cheer for the Spitfire. That's right. That's the spirit. Now, the Germans are favouring trying to pull to safety. The Allies now reoccupied the first half track, brought the machine gun back into commission. Seems to be it now. The German officer moves forward. Situation really untenable now. As the Allies move into mop up. There's the German officer surrendering now. The war's over for him. A career to take so far from Idaho now from the end of the war. Exactly, the senior man seems to have gone to the rescue of the German officer. We get you over the occasional fanatic. There we are as the Allies move forward and mop up. You've now got a very good view of the American 30 caliber machine gun right in your centre front. The German officer's brought back. There we are, there's one more episode. One more field cleared. There's another hedgerow and another field beyond that, and more beyond that. Not until the end of August will they be able to break out from Paris. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen, from the World War II Living History Association. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.